All right, so in this video, I'm gonna walk you guys through what things look like on a coach's end when a client that they're coaching, in this case, my client is Paul. This is what happens into the program design when, say, like things aren't necessarily as like ideal as they would be, because obviously Paul is a competitive bodybuilder, and ideally, like these guys are training 5 times a week, 6 times a week. In Paul's case, he started a new job, so he can only train 4 days a week, which is already one small constraint. But on top of that, the days that he's allowed to train are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because he's working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that does throw a few little wrenches in this program design, because that's not much for like recovery in between sessions. So I kind of got to be picky about what and where I pick to choose things. Does that make any sense? Doesn't matter. All right, so where I'm going to start first for Paul in this case is not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to give him upper, lower. I'm not going to give him push-pull legs or something where it's just like a split that you know you're going to follow right away. Instead, I'm going to kind of reverse engineer it where we're going to pick his priorities first, and then I'm going to make a split based off of that. So now I'm going to start filling out where we want to put our priority for Paul. In this case, our main priorities are going to be his quads and his delts. And then an additional priority is also going to be his back width from the front. Below these priorities, there's a negative priority section. There isn't necessarily like anything that's a negative priority for him, nothing that's too big that we can't get any bigger. His arms are relatively dominant, but I'm not going to like tell him to not make them grow, but we'll still do like a maintenance amount of volume on them. Some additional constraints with Paul. He's a good example of someone who might be a little bit where you consider it like too strong for their own good. So he has some previous injuries in his past, just because like, the amount of weight Paul can move is a shit ton. So some bonus constraints is we have some need to be careful of his knees. He's had 3 reconstructive knee surgeries, and then his knees and lower back. Some hinging motions like an RDL or maybe say like stiff like a deadlift, stuff like that can kind of aggravate his lower back, so we also have to keep that into consideration. Along with that, he also tore his pec bench pressing, so we have to make sure that we have to take that into consideration as well. So there are certain movements that he does and doesn't like. All right, now that I've got these priorities, I can start kind of slapping stuff in where I think it's gonna fit. So we're gonna start off with quads. So I'm gonna put them right away on Monday. And because quads typically need a couple days to recover, it wouldn't make sense to put them on Tuesday. It would make sense to put them on Wednesday. So they're gonna go again on Thursday. Next priority are gonna be his delts. Because you can train the delts, probably the most frequent out of any muscle group, because they have so many different planes of motion. I'm probably not going to put them in right away because I can kind of pick and choose almost any day that I want them in. So I'm going to move on to his back. I'm also going to put those on Mondays and Thursdays because those are another relatively big muscle group. They'll need at least a couple days to recover. If I have days like this where kind of 2 days are the same, I might have one day that's going to be more of a priority towards his quads. So say on this Thursday, we might make this his heavier quad day, so he can have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to recover. So say he does 8 sets, and then say on Monday, maybe he does 6 sets, since he only has Tuesday, Wednesday to recover. For his back, I might flip it, so now he's going to have more of a back-focused training session on this day, and then on Thursday, we'll reduce his volume a little bit in that manner. Okay, now that we're looking here, since I've got back on this day, I'm going to probably put in his rear delts here. Then we can train his delts again on this day. So I might just do total shoulders because there probably would be like a press and then a couple different raise variations. That's not going to be towards his rear delts at all. It's going to be more of his side delts. What else we got to fill in here? I'm going to throw in his chest on this day. So before Paul and I started working together, he was definitely an enjoyer of just like the bro split, where one day a week you would just kind of just annihilate a muscle group, and you wouldn't train it again until a week later. So one, he's already comfortable with doing this, and two, like if you're in like a maintenance mode for a muscle group, training it once a week, as long as you have enough sets, is plenty. So that's how I'm gonna throw this in there. So we've got his rear delts here. We're gonna put his front delts here, side delts here, chest. I might even give him some rear delt stuff on this day. And then this day we might do more front delts and side delts on this day as well. And again, I'm probably going to stagger the volumes for number of sets. So I would say, because this day is going to be his hardest quad day, which is going to take the most out of him, I'm going to make this his probably like lesser amount of delt work, especially the front delts, because like a shoulder press, if you're strong on those, like that's going to take some energy out of you. So maybe for front delts, maybe we're only doing like 3 sets this day. Front delts on this day, maybe he's doing 5. Maybe on this day, we do 3 sets of side delts, and then on this day, maybe he does 5. And then for rear delts on the other days, maybe we just go 3 here, only has 1 day to recover. Maybe this day we give him, we give him up to 6, 5 or 6, kind of just throw something in there for now. Chest, anywhere from, for maintenance mode, we'll just give him 5. What are we sitting here? Okay, so now I don't have anything specifically for his hamstrings or like his glutes. So how I'm going to fit that in there is you can, with proper programming, you can do 2 leg days back to back, but you got to be careful with the overlap of the exercises. Okay. And now for Paul's hamstrings, his glutes and hamstrings, especially like in a side chest, like that is definitely not his weak point. So you can probably get away with, for just this training phase, training them only once a week as well. So I'm going to throw them maybe on this Wednesday. And then later on, as we progress through this, you'll see like exercise selection-wise, how I'm going to choose this and how I'm going to split the stuff up will make more sense too. Making sure there's no like negative crossover between any of these leg days. Okay, then maybe sets for hamstrings. We'll just throw in 5. Okay, now where are we sitting here? We're missing his arms. We're going to throw that on this day. So say biceps, triceps. Those are kind of in his maintenance mode. So maybe we'll give him 5 sets here, 5 sets there. Okay, so I think the split I've got should work pretty well once I start throwing exercises in. When we look at his total volume for his muscles here, hopefully his priority groups have the most sets. So for quads, I see 6 and 8, so we have 14. Delts, total is going to be quite a bit probably. 3, 8, 11, 16, 19, 24. That's a lot. Okay, so that is quite a bit. Let's see, does it seem like too much? Rear delts, they can definitely recover after a day with only 3 sets. Should be able to recover plenty. Front delts, 5. That does seem like a lot. Okay, well then, if the volume ever seems too high on stuff, you can just bring it down. So I'm going to bring that down to 4. Side delts, maybe I'll bring that down to 4. Okay, what do we got rocking here? Now for his total delt stuff, let's see, 3, 7, 10. Seems like a lot. 14, 17, 21. That seems a little bit more reasonable. Okay, now we'll move to his back. We got here 8 and 6, so that's 14. Now for chest, just got that 1 day, so that's 5. We got hamstrings, that's 5. Arms, both arms, 5. Okay, so if you look at the total volume of this program, it pretty much correlates with what we're trying to do with his priorities. Highest volume is going to be on his quads, delts, and his back, and then everything else is kind of in maintenance mode.